I have something to print out here that I brought with me, knowing that we were going to meet. And I told you that one of the first books I read, and I think I read another one, but you know, I can't remember which one it was. It might have been, what was the second one after When the Dancing Stops?
When the Dead Speak.
I think that was it. I think When the Dead Speaks. But When the Dancing Stops, now listen to this. You guys have got to go out and get one of these books and buy them all. They're at Amazon.com. And this was the Bret Higgins mystery. Listen to this now. In a daring departure from the standard lesbian mystery, this exciting new author brings you a brilliant crime novel of love, deception and revenge. A novel that will take you deep into the dark side of desire. Oh man, and engulf you in wave after wave of raw eroticism and heart-pounding suspense. Now here's the part I like. Fully clothed, Bret parted the shower curtain. That's Bret Higgins, the heroine here. Bret parted the shower curtain. Desire hung in the air like the mist on the bathroom mirror, and Storm felt her nakedness more than she ever had on stage. Now Storm is another character, obviously, yes. Bret brought her lips to Storm's, and they kissed as the water from the shower came down on them like a thunderstorm's rain. Quote, "You're gonna get wet," Storm panted, and I'm sure that she did. That's my editorial there. "Do I look like I care?" Bret replied, pulling Storm's mouth back to her own. "Sometimes," and now this is more from the description of the book, "sometimes there is a fine line between right and wrong, between good and evil, don't I know it?" That's another editorial from Joe. "As lieutenant to the owner of a chain of adult bookstores and entertainment centers, Bret Higgins walks that fine line. People often mistook the tall, broad-shouldered woman for a man, but Storm never did. She'd known right from the start what Bret was, and she liked it. The problem was, so many others did too." What a great... Now that little thing right there, that one, I had to read that, not because I give a fig about lesbians, but because it sounds really intriguing. And it was a great book. And I encourage all of my fans, and anybody else who stumbles across this interview here on YouTube, to go to Amazon.com and look up Therese Szymanski and take a look at these When books. There's some other great books too. When Somebody Disappears, Once Upon a Dyke, Back to Basics, The Perfect Valentine, Call of the Dark. These are great books. Now, I don't remember comedy and When the Dancing Stops, but I'm sure there was, because I know that's part of your personality. Most of your books have some humorous relief, because it's very dark and heavy, right?
Just a little bit. My first editor kept wanting me to write a lot more humor into the Bret Higgins series, but then I discovered that Bret really doesn't have a sense of humor. I mean, in the Bret series, the idea of humor is more like when Frankie's killing someone and says, "Roach be gone."
Right.
And
I don't know what that means, actually, but Roach be gone?
Advertising slogan.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Right.
So, and then when she moves to Alma, Bret's sitting there watching all these signs that say, "Pick your own apples, pick your own corn, pick your own," and she was sure that when winter came, there'd be signs up that say, "Pick your own snowballs."
Wow. Well, you are a fascinating author, and I love your books. Let me hold up your books again. Look at this now. This is a big pile of books. Look at this. This is incredible. These, oh my goodness, look, they're all falling. They want to jump off the shelves and into your hands. So I would say to you blokes, you get out there, get to Amazon.com. Look, you're on the internet anyway. You might as well just click away from YouTube, go to Amazon.com. And what do? Do they search Szymanski? Is that it?
I think they might come up with some different Szymanskis as well.
Oh, really? What's the best way to find you directly?
Drop in Therese Szymanski.
All right, that's good. Well, I think some of your books, when I read When the Dancing Stops, I thought that'd be a great television or made-for-TV movie, and there's certainly some interesting things in there. What did you think about that one, When the Dancing Stops? Was that is that a book you'd recommend for someone to start with, or what's the book you sort of start with here in your series?
Dancing is the first book in the series, but I was much younger when I wrote that, so I tend to prefer people to start with When Evil Changes Face.
What advice do you give to a new writer who wants to be a published author, you know?
You have to finish your first book before you can try to get published. So you have to stick with it and just grind it out and
Oh, what about that then? You know, all right, so yes, you've got to finish your first book. How the hell do you finish your first book? I mean, besides you just say do it, you know, like the Nike commercials, just do it. What advice do you, I mean, I know a lot of it is, you know, motivation, and you've got to be committed, and you've got to have the energy, you know, and all that. What tips would you give to somebody who's just starting out and needs to finish that first book?
It's good to set goals, like even 1,000 words a day, which sounds to some people like a lot, but on my bad days when I was just really trying to keep going, if I set a 1,000-word goal, I could make that. So realistic goals as you move along, and it takes a lot of perspiration. Well, not in the running around and lifting weights sort of way, but just in sitting there and pounding your head against the brick wall until you make it through. And writer's block isn't really a good excuse.
What do you do for writer's block?
I usually drink beer.
Is that right? I drink cognac. I wish we had some right now. I'm drinking Diet Coke. I don't know what you're drinking, but Pepsi.
Diet Pepsi.
Oh, they have Pepsi and Diet Pepsi in the same machine. That's odd. So what about writing and editing? You know, one of the things that I've learned over the years is to just write and worry about editing later. How do you mix the two together?
You have very sound advice. I know a lot of people just keep going back over what they've already written. That's why I tend to try to get through an entire book just from start to finish. It's pretty quickly, because if I have to keep going back through and reviewing what I've already written, that takes up half my writing time. So if you keep trying to revise that, you're going to spend all your time in revising what you've already written as opposed to actually writing anything new.
Now, I know that, let's say you finished your first book, you're very proud of it, it's in manuscript form, it's all neatly typed, you've got a beautiful title page there that says, you know, When Good Girls Go Bad by Therese Szymanski and all that, and now you need to find somebody to publish it. What advice would you give folks that finish their manuscript and are ready to make it big in the book business?
Keep writing, start work on the next book, and make sure to review where you're sending your book to. Make sure to review exactly what they want and follow their specifications to the letter to ensure that you're not going to get discarded because you've had a typo-laden cover letter.
Right, that would be difficult, wouldn't it? It's happened to me a couple of times.
In editing anthologies, I've seen some really terrible cover letters, so.
Now, you've done some public appearances and things like that to talk about your books. Have you been out there and done the talk circuit a little bit and talking about the characters and that sort of thing? What are your fans like? What kind of feedback do you get from people who have read the books? Now, I'm assuming you're just going to tell me the good stuff, but
I've met some truly wonderful fans in England and over here. Some of them are a little bit odd, and I keep considering asking my publisher for a stunt double since I'm rather known for pulling little stunts like handcuffing fellow panelists.
Is that right? Could I be part of your panel? I would enjoy being handcuffed. Go ahead, handcuff me right now. I'm ready, you know. And I have enjoyed this. You know, you've been a good friend for a long time, and I hope we can continue to be friends.
Well, most success on your Hollywood endeavors, Joe.
I know, it's very exciting.
Yes, it is.
You want a piece of the action, don't you? You know what? Maybe we can find a way to get one of these books, you know, like a prop in the movie. And I don't know how much pull I'm going to have. I'm actually, it's going to be interesting because I'm working with Gazelle McCrory out there, who's a great screenwriter. And I'm going to be kind of a co-screenwriter here, which I've never done before. I've written something as a screenplay, but never from one of my own books, you know. So that's going to be very interesting. I look forward to it.
Well, from our years of acquaintance, I do know you have a certain turn with dialogue that I think will play magnificently on the screen.
Well, I appreciate that. I do. That's very nice of you to say. And again, thank you so much. I think we're done here. Thank you very much. I want to thank all my viewers for watching. And again, Therese Szymanski, great author, really wonderful stuff, and I hope you'll go to Amazon.com and check her out. This is New Jersey Joe saying, all right, mates, I'll talk to you later. God bless you, and good luck.